for those of you who don't know this about me, I am basically obsessed with the Big E. I grew up about a mile down the road from here in Agawam, and as a kid we would walk to the fair with my family and later on with friends after school. So when my boss Mark DuPont asked me to produce this year's Big E story, I thought I would share with you why I love coming here every day, every year. So here are my top 10 reasons why I like the Big E. From comedy to cutlery to cows, there is definitely something for everyone to experience at the Big E. Starting with number 10, the New England Band Organ. Located behind the Massachusetts building near Gate 1, this is one of the world's finest fairground band organs produced in the 21st century by the Stinson Band Organ Company of Ohio. This organ was custom built for the Big E in 2002. It contains hundreds of handcrafted wooden pipes as well as a full complement of percussion instruments. Number 9. The Avenue of the States. There is no Massachusetts State Fair, but there is a 6-state fair, the only one in America. At the Big E, it is possible to actually set foot in all 6 New England states in 1 hour.
Gourmet apples, chocolate-covered bacon.
The Avenue of the States has replicas of each New England state's original state house sitting on land that is actually owned by that state. The Big E was founded by Joshua L. Brooks in 1916 when he convinced the National Dairy Show to hold its annual event on the exposition grounds. His dream was to have state buildings at the fair that would showcase the traditional new products and attractions that make each New England state unique. Big E President Gene Cassidy.
The purpose of the fair in its origins was to promote best practices in agriculture and industry. As a matter of fact, the name of the organization as it was founded was the Eastern States Agricultural and Industrial Exposition. And that, being such a mouthful, Mr. Brooks, about 6 years later, decided to shorten it down to the Eastern States Exposition. And it provided an opportunity for farmers and for industrialists to show their wares and to gather once a year to talk about how they were doing business and what they were doing to sustain their businesses.
Speaking of business, number 8 on my list, watching the gadget demos.
1, 2, 3, 4 card harvester. Practice at home on potatoes. If you goof it up, pot of boiling water, you'll have mashed potatoes. Dip it in Chanel number 5. Wear it as a corsage. And I wanted to give that to you, ma'am, as a souvenir.
Oh, thank
Go ahead
you.
and smell that. All right.
They always make it look so easy, don't they? Number 7 was a tie this year between 2 of my own kids' favorites. The Milk Show, as my daughter Sarah likes to call it, and the butter sculpture. Each year, hundreds of pounds of butter are plastered on wire frames to create a sculpture made entirely from butter. In fact, more than 600 pounds of butter, both located at the Mallory Arena complex. Also at the Mallory Arena, you will find my number 6 pick, the farm animals.
People from the livestock industry come from all over North America to compete here to try to win blue ribbons here in West Springfield, which is really remarkable. You think about farming in New England today, it's so different. But the farm in New England has to be diversified, and that's a great purpose for which Eastern States serves. So a cattle farmer might be growing crops, vegetable crops. He might be making cheese. He might now be making wine, and now they're getting into even boutique brewing as a means to sort of make ends meet on the farm.
Not quite a farm animal, but pretty tame for wildlife, is number 5, bear country. I just love watching these wild bears that were adopted by the Orphaned Wildlife Center. They interact with their owners who have been licensed wildlife rehabilitators for 20 years. Number 4 is Station 4, the West Springfield Fire Station located on the grounds of the Big E. The firehouse keeps folks safe on the grounds of the fair, and they also keep people fed. They serve a great breakfast every morning during the fair, and they also make the best chili, clam chowder, and baked beans around. The money raised through food sales goes into the Permanent Firemen's Relief Fund and provides scholarships and aid to many in the community. On to number 3 of my 10 most favorite things of the Big E, the entertainment. There is so much entertainment, from the skinny German juggler, to the Big E bear, to these guys. You don't know whether you should stop and watch or sit down and eat.
What's the matter with you?
Which brings me to number 2, the food. From the Maine baked potato to the Big E cream puff, made with 2 full scoops of luscious whipped cream consisting of 40% milk fat. The Big E provides visitors with an opportunity to take a break from the rigidity of their diet. I went out on a limb and I asked the fair president what his favorite food is.
It's a fair question. I don't know if it's a good question for a fair manager, but it is a fair question because I do have some favorites. Now, my staple is the fried cheese curds, because it's like the only place in the world you can find them is here at the fair.
And so this brings us to the top reason I like the Big E year after year. And that would be for the people. For it would not be a fair without the people. Especially Gene Cassidy and his entire staff who work so hard all year long to bring such a fabulous fair to Western Massachusetts. And perhaps Gene Cassidy sums it up best.
Even when I was a kid and I used to come to the fair, I was always mesmerized by all the people who were here. And now at this more mature level, I remain mesmerized for the diversity and the fact that everybody's here to have a good time, so people are predisposed to be happy when they get here, and I enjoy that very much about the fair.
Well, that was so much fun, and believe me, there are more than 10 things to do and see here at the Big E.